Today, we will review the Environmental Clearance Document New Home Form, which is one of HUD's documents titled Compliance Checklist for 24 CFR 58.6 Other Requirements. This form is only required for buyout and acquisition program applicants who are receiving down payment assistance or buyout incentives. A copy of this HUD checklist can be found on the Texas General Land Office website at recovery.texas.gov. To locate the document, go to the local buyout and acquisition program page, which is linked below in the description section of this video. This page has many of the required documents and resources for the buyout and acquisition programs. Scroll down to the right side checklist section and click on the Environmental Clearance Document New Home link. Once you click on the link, your computer will download the fillable document. Please note that you will need Microsoft Word to view and edit the document. For applicants to be eligible for buyout and acquisition incentives for down payment assistance or buyout incentives, the applicants must follow certain requirements in the new home or lot they are purchasing with CDBG DR funds. The first requirement is that the new home should be built on a purchased or pre-owned lot located outside of the floodplain or in a lower risk area within the subrecipient's jurisdiction. Alternatively, the applicant can purchase an already built home, either new or existing, located outside of the floodplain or in a lower risk area in the subrecipient's jurisdiction. The second requirement is that the new home, whether existing or newly built, should be considered decent, safe, and sanitary. The environmental clearance document for the new home provides evidence that the new home or lot to be purchased meets these requirements and is in a lower risk area or outside of the floodplain. The form should be completed accordingly based on the property and new home that the applicant will be buying and moving into. We will now go through a sample environmental clearance form. In this video, a fictional applicant and location will be used for demonstration purposes. For this example, Rango County created a voluntary buyout program for residents living in the floodplain. The applicant is receiving down payment assistance and buyout incentives, and therefore needs to fill out the environmental clearance form for the new home they will be buying with incentives. The first set of fields to fill out are the ones to identify the project and environmental review record for the checklist. The first field is the project name. Here, simply type the name of the project, which in our case is the name of the buyout program. Next, for the ERR file number, since there is no prior environmental review for the property, input the address of the property to be bought with down payment or buyout incentives. The next section is for documentation of compliance with 24 CFR 58.6 subsections A and B. For each of the factors listed in the table, select either yes or no to indicate whether formal compliance steps are completed or if more documentation is needed. In the first question, does the project involve formula grants made to states, state-owned property, small loans, assisted leasing that is not used for repairs, improvements, or acquisition? All subrecipients of the local buyout and acquisition program can place no. The second question, 1A, is specific to the new replacement home that will be bought by the homeowners with incentives. The question asks, is the project located in a FEMA-identified special flood hazard area? Meaning, is the home located in a special flood hazard area? Check yes or no. If the home is not located in a special flood hazard area, compliance is complete and subrecipients can skip to the required backup documentation. If the property is located in a special flood hazard area, continue to question B. To be eligible for incentives, properties located in special flood hazard areas must demonstrate that they are in a lower risk area within the subrecipient's jurisdiction, and they must be allowable according to the subrecipient's housing guidelines. Many subrecipient programs do not allow incentives for replacement properties within the special flood hazard areas. Question 1B asks if the community is participating in the National Flood Insurance Program, or if less than 1 year has passed since FEMA notification of special flood hazards. Relevant to the buyout and acquisition program, this question is specific to the replacement property to be bought by the homeowner and whether they have flood insurance on the property. If the property is in a special flood hazard area, the homeowner will be required to provide the policy declarations form issued by the National Flood Insurance Program, or issued by any property insurance company offering coverage under the National Flood Insurance Program, to demonstrate that they have flood insurance to be eligible for buyout or down payment incentives. Flood insurance will be required on the property in perpetuity. If the property is sold or transferred, notification of the requirement should be provided during the sale. The amount of flood insurance coverage must be at least equal to the incentive amount or the maximum limit of coverage made available. See page 3 of the checklist for more information on flood insurance requirements. Next, all applicants of buyout or down payment incentives are required to have documentation demonstrating the location of the home to be bought out overlaid on a FEMA special flood hazard map. See the instructional video, How to Indicate the Property's Location in the Flood Zone, for more information on how to map the property in relation to the flood zone. Note, if the property is in a special flood hazard area and is eligible according to the program's housing guidelines, documentation that the location of the new home is in a lower risk area must be provided along with a copy of flood insurance. The next section of the environmental checklist is for compliance with 58.6 subsection C, the Coastal Barrier Improvement Act. The first question asks, does the project involve new construction, conversion of land uses, major rehabilitation of existing structures, or acquisition of undeveloped land? For the buyout and acquisition program, this question is relevant to the replacement home to be bought with the down payment or buyout incentives. If the new home will involve new construction, major rehabilitation, conversion of land uses, or acquisition of undeveloped land, the subrecipient should check yes. If not, the subrecipient can check no and move to number 2. If the subrecipient checked yes, the subrecipient should answer, is the project located in a coastal barrier resource area? If no, compliance with 58.6C has been achieved. If the answer is yes, the property is ineligible for buyout or down payment incentives. All subrecipients that answered yes to the first question, 58.6C, does the project involve new construction, conversion of land uses, major rehabilitation of existing structure, or acquisition of undeveloped land, should attach a map demonstrating the property's location and its distance from coastal barrier resources. A map with the property location, identified in relation to the coastal barrier resource systems, can be found by going to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service map. Subrecipients should click Existing Units. Then subrecipients should click on the CBRS validation tool and click on the pin icon. Then subrecipients should click on Find Location and input the address of the property that will be using incentives. And should click on the property using incentives. The map will put a pinpoint on that location, and then the CBRS validation tool will automatically open again, and the subrecipient should enter the address of the property, the name of the organization, and click Certify and Create PDF. Below where it says CBRS documentation, a link will appear on the map. Click on the link. The map will open in a separate window. The map will have a pin demonstrating the property to be bought out and the latitude and longitude of that pin in relation to any coastal barrier resource systems nearby. Save or print the map according to your web browser. The next section for compliance are questions for compliance with 58.6 subsection D, runway clear zones and clear zones. The first question is, does the project involve the sale or purchase of existing property? The subrecipient should answer yes if the property that would be bought with down payment or buyout incentives is an existing residence, existing lot, or new construction home. If not, the subrecipient should input no and compliance is complete with this section. If the subrecipient checked yes, they should continue to answer question D. Is the property located within 2,500 feet of the end of a civil airport runway or within 15,000 feet of the end of a military runway? If the answer is no, the project is in compliance. If the answer is yes, that property is located near a runway, the homeowner must provide and sign the notice on page 4 of this checklist. The notice states that the property that you are interested in purchasing is located in a runway clear zone. Studies have shown that if an aircraft accident were to occur, it is more likely to occur within the runway clear zone or clear zone than in any other areas around the airport or airfield. Please note that we are not discussing the chances that an accident will occur, only where one is most likely to occur. You should also be aware that the airport or airfield operator may wish to purchase the property at some point in the future as part of a clear zone acquisition program. Such programs have been underway for many years at airports and airfields across the country. We cannot predict if or when this might happen, since it is a function of many factors, particularly the availability of funds, but it is a possibility. We want to bring this information to your attention. Your signature on the space below indicates that you are now aware that the property that you are interested in purchasing is located in a runway clear zone or clear zone. Regardless, subrecipients should attach a map indicating the location of the home in proximity to the end of the runway. Runway information can be found at the link provided on the checklist. After completing the checklist, the subrecipient should print their name, title, and sign and date the form, certifying that everything is true to the best of their knowledge. We hope that you enjoyed this training on the Form Environmental Clearance Document, New Home. If there are any additional questions during the completion of the form, Subrecipients should reach out to their General Land Office grant manager. Additional videos covering the other required local buyout and acquisition forms are or will soon be available at the same location you are viewing this one.